Darrell Waltrip has the pole position and grabs an early lead. Bobby Allison is in trouble. Early, he's forced into the pits several times with flat tires. He's running way back in the pack. Allison is trying to stay out of trouble and run strong. Waltrip must win to have a chance. Waltrip and Tim Richmond are dueling for the lead when they get sideways coming out of turn 9. It's the break Bobby Allison's been waiting for. The skies open up, and Elliott wins his first Winston Cup race under caution. Darrell Waltrip finishes 6th. Bobby Allison comes in 9th to win his first Winston Cup championship in 23 years of racing.
The freight train comes off the 4th turn onto the tri-oval once again. Moving to the inside is Bobby Allison trying to reestablish himself in 2nd position. Allison and Earnhardt look like they touch coming down the stripe. Now they're side by side in turn number 1.
Remember where the start-finish line is at this racetrack. It is not in the middle of the tri-oval. That could be a factor in this race. The start-finish line is at the exit of the pits. There are just 5.5 laps to go. Phil Parsons incredibly high on that last lap. No wall contact. Holds his position. He runs in 7th. And here comes Bobby Allison, followed by Earnhardt.
Allison takes the lead. Earnhardt moves to 2nd position, making Buddy Baker back to 3rd. We've got one more lap to go on this 2.66-mile tri-oval here at Talladega, and the winner of the Winston 500 is very much up in the air at this point. Let's watch them move through turn number 2 now. Bobby Allison stretches it out just a little bit over Dale Earnhardt. They go on to the backstretch. It is still Earnhardt staying in 2nd position and Baker in 3rd. Let's see if Dale Earnhardt will make the move to the inside and slingshot at the end of the backstretch going into turn number 3. Yes, he does. He moves alongside Bobby Allison, and Dale Earnhardt takes Allison high in turn number 4. They're still side by side as they come by turn number 4. They're onto the tri-oval, and Bobby Allison still has the lead. I don't think Dale Earnhardt is going to do it. It appears as if, yes, Bobby Allison wins the Winston 500.
Knowing that it is your hometown track, knowing that it's not that far away from Birmingham, and these stands are filled with your fans, does it make it extra special?
It really is, I'll tell you. It is great right here at home, I'm telling you. It is just super great.
Tell everybody the good news, Corey LaJoy, and I appreciate it.
Corey LaJoy is going to see the checkered flag. Took my nickname Super Shoe, get my shoe away in the stand, so whoever makes the most noise is going to get my shoe.
What is going on, y'all? It's Josh from Team Super Shoe, and welcome back to another episode of the Shoe Show. Today is the last episode of the Shoe Show, unfortunately. Just a brief reason. We'll dive into it a lot more later, but nothing to do with Corey, nothing to do with, anybody behind the scenes. Merely just, we have been so busy, it's been hard to keep up with the show and bring content to you guys. So unfortunately, we feel like this is a good time. We've had a lot of fun, and it's a good time to kind of wrap it up. We are still going to be on Team Super Shoe, so still continue to chat with us there. We're never going to go away as long as Corey sticks around. We're going to be around too. Today we are hanging out with our buddies, co-hosts Mike and Derek, and we're talking about our weekends out at Talladega and Homestead. Just kind of talking about our weekends and what the experience was like there. We're going to be talking about our predictions for the Cup champion later today. And like I said, this is the last episode, unfortunately. So we're going to kind of dive into behind the scenes stuff a little bit, kind of tell you stories that only me and Mike and Derek know, and kind of just reminisce. So I appreciate you guys. If you could please like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, even though we're, not going to be making any more content. We are going to be making a best of playlist. So there's still plenty of good content. You can go back and we tried to do our best to bring light to people that aren't necessarily having light shine on them, like, the rap guy, or like the engineer, or whoever else in the garage that we thought it's a really interesting story, a really interesting person to bring on. And if you haven't hung out with us on Facebook, that's where it's all started, and that's where it's going to continue to go. Team Super Shoe on Facebook. It's a group on Facebook. Otherwise, y'all, I appreciate you so much. Let's bring on our buddies. Let's talk some racing. And we're here. Mike, hold the tears in, buddy. It'll be okay.
I'm trying, man.
How y'all doing?
Great. Still in mourning after hearing, the devastating news last night before the Xfinity race. That's why showing support for Bobby here. I don't know if we were going to touch on it in a later segment, but I wanted to get it out the way. And first of all, I'll say Godspeed, racer. Thoughts and prayers going out to the Allison family, his daughters, his brother. We're not going to be sad because Bobby and Clifford and Davey, they're all together. Judy, they're all together again, and no family. Yes, the France family is responsible for NASCAR, but no family has done more for the sport than the Allison family. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge them and Bobby, first off. So there's a lot more story there behind the scenes if y'all want to get to know more about Bobby and his family. Other than what they show on the broadcast, it's a tremendous story. There's a lot of heartbreak, and then there's a lot of triumph as well. And behind the scenes of that, you can see how the Petty family throughout the years was always there to lift up the Allison family and vice versa. So I just wanted to get that out the way.
Yeah, man. He was definitely a huge, an important race car driver in NASCAR. It's a really big bummer to see what happened, but we can all pray for a good full life, and I think he had it. So, Mike, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Can't complain. It's Sunday, last race of the year, last podcast for the Shoe Show. So I just want to say, man, it's been such a privilege to get to know you both and to experience a lot of the opportunities that have been so graciously handed to us by, Corey and Leanne and Spire and now Rick Ware Racing. And it's just been a hell of a time to kind of reflect over the last several days at the journey that all three of us have been able to take part in. So cheers to that, man. Cheers.
Yeah, brother. I want to shout out to some of these guys. We have quite a few people watching right now. And for whatever reason, it just says Facebook user. But if you guys want to go watch on the Shoe Show's Facebook page, is a separate page from Team Super Shoe. Got our our rap guy, William Johnson. He's out there hanging out with us. He said, "All you love me," after I mentioned him in the little intro there. So appreciate you, dog. And Cynthia and Diana, thank you guys so much. All these faithful people that have watched throughout the years. And so pretty cool. So, all right. Well, unfortunately, Mike and I had to wear some special t-shirts today. Derek, would you like to talk about it?
Yes, I will keep this as brief as possible and not try to bask in the glory of the two heads that are above me right now. But last year, Josh and I had a bet as to who could get the most people to show up representing Team Super Shoe at the racetrack. And I won. And as a result of that win, somebody had to wear a special little shirt. And I got to pick the shirt. And that's what you see the man in purple wearing right there. It's not a Grimace shirt from McDonald's. No. That is his second favorite driver, Denny Hamlin. And we decided just to kind of get the fans more involved and lift spirits, at the point in the season when people were in the doom and gloom of what's going to happen with Corey next year. We said, hey, let's liven it up a little bit. Let's bring back the contest and call it Le Join's Rendezvous, Le Join the Rendezvous, whatever. It's a big fancy word, and I live in Louisiana. I should be able to pronounce French stuff better. But anyway, so the three of us had a bet this year, a little bargain. Whoever could get the biggest turnout at the racetrack would win and get to pick the loser shirts. So I was already a leg up, and well, Mike kind of dropped the ball on his end at Atlanta, and Josh had some technical difficulties at Daytona. So what you get now is this glorious picture right here, which thanks to Brandon with the merch hauler for giving us an excellent backdrop, and thanks to all y'all that showed up and to help make Mike and Josh losers of the Rendezvous contest. And obviously Josh already showed up. Mike, what are you wearing there? What did you get the opportunity to wear for this last final shoe show?
Oh, let me take a drink. Hang on.
Y'all prepare to take in the glory.
Oh man. So Denny Hamlin is Josh's second favorite driver. Let me tell you about my second favorite driver. Oh, hang on. There we go. All right. Hey, old Bubba Wallace right there. And I'll tell you what, man, I just couldn't be more proud to wear this shirt. And so, yeah, I lost the bet, as Derek alleviated too. I did kind of drop the ball in Atlanta. I could blame it on my son and the fact that I had to pack up the entire camp Sunday morning before the race so we could leave immediately after. But if we were being a little more honest, there was a high alcohol intake Saturday night. And so I was not in the best shape Sunday morning to go and try to, be professional and capture all this content. So that being said, I lost the bet. I dropped the ball. And now I'm a Bubba Wallace fan, at least for this episode. As soon as we conclude this, I will go back to my standard Corey LaJoie hat and Corey LaJoie crew shirt. Fellas, that was a lot of fun. Nice friendly wager between us all, and hope all of you fans enjoyed what you've seen. Bless our hearts.
Yeah. And you know what? It's the last episode. I'm going to go ahead and tell kind of the truth of what happened to mine. I had a big group. Mike was there. We actually got to hang out behind the Chevy stage. It was, he was still in the 7 in Daytona in August, and we had quite a good turnout. Probably like 10 or so people plus kids, and it was pretty cool to see. And it brought them all behind the hauler after he got done talking on stage on his little interview, and I unfurled something I made, a flag or a sign or whatever you would want to call it. And unfortunately, it said something. This was in the heyday of all the crap that he was getting with the Kyle Busch drama. So it said something that after we took the photo, he was like, dude, I don't want you to post that. So, and I respect that. He told me, he said, listen, man, all the people that are showing up here wanting my autographs are the same people that go online and are bashing me. So he said, don't stoop to their level. And I appreciated that. And out of respect, it was gone. It was deleted. So, however, I think I would have won, Derek, but it's all right. It's all right. So,
if it makes you feel any better, those shirts look spectacular on you guys. Just like this Corey LaJoie 51 laminate team shirt right here that Josh was nice enough to, he ordered extra because, he, like myself, we fight with these magnificent manly bods, and sometimes these manufacturers don't really get the sizes spot on. So Josh, being a smart man that he is, he said, I better just play the cards right because you never know. And then I get to reap the rewards. So muchas gracias for the shirt, sir.
Yep.
And the stickers. So, there were some sticky bits too.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, the first subject before we get on to talking about the shoe show, and then it's our last show. Wanted to first bring up this year's fall races that we went to. We haven't really talked about it much on the show. So we'll start with you, Derek, first. You went out. You and Mike both went to Talladega and had your weekends. Tell us about it.
Well, I tell you what, it was probably one of the better Talladega weekends I've had. Not counting getting to spend the weekend documenting Andy J and KLAS Motorsports. That was obviously something totally different. That's something that not all the fans get to do. But this this fall race, everything I experienced was everything that you can experience as a fan just by buying the garage experience tickets and getting in the infield and showing up for all the races. My expectations weren't really that high for the weekend as far as what was going to happen behind the scenes. But, when I first got there, one of the first people I ran across in the garage area was actually Rick Ware. And, we had a fairly decent conversation about his motorsports teams and whatnot. And then, then as you explore the garage area, the new team, the Rick Ware team, they were all working on the car, and when they weren't busy getting him set up for getting Shu set up for success, they were very eager to talk. And once you drop a couple key lingo words about the mechanics and the mechanisms and the interweb weavings of, I'm sorry guys, I'm still working on my coffee here, so I can't really put my words together properly. But it was, and getting to meet Shu, these tickets for Talladega, they allow you to be in the right places at the right times if you know what you're doing. And then if any of y'all out there decide to step up and get the garage experience passes, and you're just looking for advice on like how to do what I did, getting to meet my driver, getting to talk to the team owner, stuff like that, I'd be more than willing to share some tips. Not gonna lie, the truck race Friday started off horribly. Like, it nearly blinded all of us down there in the front row, because apparently they didn't clean the track properly. So the first several laps of the race, all the dirt and muck that had gotten behind the safe barrier was exposed and was thrown in our face. And I can't imagine what it would be like to fall face first in the beach sand at Daytona, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty close to that. It was great to see it was great to see the 51 car up close and in person, see those glorious colored wheels on there. Even actually before we even got inside the track, I wanted to make it a point to go out and meet Brandon at the merch hauler. And he was a really good dude, down to earth type of guy. And that was the first time he and I had met. And I'm sure we had crossed paths in the past buying merch from his hauler, but this was the first time I had a face with a name. And he's a really great guy. I got to learn a little bit about him that weekend. And all in all, it was just one of the better race weekends. My brother, my nephew, my son would probably disagree, because they're not adult enough to be able to moderate their consumption levels. I'll just leave it at that. And and then my son, God bless his heart, he got that Coors Light jacket because he wanted to show my nephew up. And he got so many compliments. It didn't matter that it was 90 some odd degrees out there. He was not taking that thing off. Let's just say it needs to be dry cleaned very, very, very badly. Thank the Lord above. Next weekend's fall race is 2 weeks into October, so hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler. But it was, Talladega weekend is never a bad weekend, right? Even the spring race that went to with Mike and met Mike for the first time, even though Tyler Reddick won, and we had a Toyota in Victory Lane, and Corey LaJoy went on his lid for, I think, what was the first time in his career.
Yeah.
It's still not a bad weekend, so.
Yeah. Well, at least Mike didn't wake up in some stranger's car this time. So
can I tell that story?
Yeah.
All right.
Have at it.
So we'll keep it PG, right? So we'll talk about the fall weekend, the same weekend that Derek just alluded to in just a moment. So earlier this year in the spring race, I took a good buddy of mine named Andrew Bridwell to Talladega, his first ever NASCAR experience. And we decided that since he didn't have his daughter and I didn't have my son Jace, that we were going to have an adult weekend at Talladega. And let me tell you something, folks. Heavy quotations, buddy. I've been to Talladega a lot. but most of those being, whenever I was still young and living underneath my father's roof. And then, since becoming an adult and having children, the only other times that I've been to Talladega was having to look out for another life form, being my son. So that means you can't go to the boulevard. You can't drink copious amounts of Corona or Busch Light or Canadian Mist. You got to be responsible, right? So the spring race, I didn't have to do any of that. And so I went down to the infield Saturday evening and took it all in and had the whole experience. And guys, I got so hammered. I woke up in the passenger seat of somebody's Suburban that I really didn't even know. And man, poor choices probably. Was extremely hungover that Sunday for the race. But looking back, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I had a great time with a bunch of new people that I met and people that, instantly became friends. And so that was a lot of fun. So true story. Woke up in
people you met through the shoe show and Team Super Shoe.
Well, one of them was Nathan Dillard, and I'm sure he's running around here somewhere. And but I think it was somebody else's Suburban or Tahoe that I woke up in. And I remember getting up that morning and messaging my buddy Andrew, who went back to camp way earlier in the night. I woke up and sent him a video from inside turn 1 and 2, and I'm like, dude, what the hell happened last night? I mean, you can just hear it in my voice. I was not in good shape. But either way, I digress from that. This fall weekend from 2024, much the same. No kids. Took my buddy Christian to his first race at Talladega, and we did a lot of the same, just the whole Talladega experience. And, there's me and Mr. Brandon, the merch guy there, and hell of a guy, super cool. And, kind of just like you and I, an everyday average Joe, if you will. And, but yeah, man, just the whole weekend, top to bottom, start to finish was another one for the record books. And, was able to meet several people from Rick Ware Racing. My buddy Jack Vessel hooked Christian and I up with VIP passes once again. And so we were able to go and mingle in the garage and meet some people like Duck, the transport hauler guy. And there's me and Corey. Funny story about that. He came walking around the corner of this transport hauler and seen me before I seen him. And he comes over talking some trash, He's like, what the hell are you doing here again this weekend? Like, you again? Like, how many of these things do you go to a year? And I'm like, it ain't none of your damn business, okay? I'll work really hard pouring concrete. If I want to spend my money going to races to support this flapjack that drives in circles on Sundays, that's what I'm going to do. So we had a good laugh about it. But I showed him the new ink, that new 51 tattoo right there. And he's like, man, you are a dog. Like, I appreciate your support so much. That's awesome. He took a picture of it with his own phone and has been mentioned a couple of times on Stacking Pennies. And let me tell you something, folks. They had about one more time to talk about that 51 tattoo, and I'd had to start charging them money to talk about this guy with this 51 tattoo. Like, I spent money on it. They should pay me money for the material that I provided. But yeah, man, it was just a good weekend. There's me hanging out right there between the exit of the tri-oval just before the start finish line. And man, it's so cool to walk on that track. That is awesome. There's this other guy here. His name's Derek, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he sucks. Not a good guy, not a real great personality by any means.
Great T-shirt though.
Well, great T-shirt. I mean, and that's the best that he had going for him. No, that guy right there, I am proud to call him a friend, man. We had a blast, obviously, back in the spring race for Talladega, and now obviously the fall, just the same. And so I value his friendship. And yeah, man, goodness, that is good memories. There's me and Duck that I talked about earlier. That's the transport hauler guy, and hell of an individual as well. And there's my buddy Christian. If y'all could support me and telling this guy he needs a haircut. The dude looks like a chick. Like we're not in the 80s anymore, and he doesn't live in California.
Lady locks.
He's surfing, right? Get a haircut, Christian. But his favorite driver is Joey Logano. He is a sinner. He knows not what he does. We're going to see if we can convert him over to that 51 train before long. But yeah, man, just and that right there, you can't beat it, man. Just like the song says, where the skies are so blue, it's Sweet Home Alabama, and that's truly what it is, man. Always a good time at Talladega, and there's the old 51 machine for Corey LaJoie and Rick Ware Racing. And it is such a privilege to be on that side of the garage. So the people that you see in front of you, that is your Talladega Garage Experience ticket that you can buy from TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. This is a non-paid endorsement. So that's the kind of access that you get from there. So it's obviously very close up. It's pretty personal for what it is. But again, to be on that side of the garage with all the top people, that is such a privilege. Me and Christian there with my Marlboro in hand. Sorry about the dark, guys. It's not real professional looking.
What does that say? Natural Light? What is that beer?
It stands for I'm poor and I pour concrete for a living. So yeah, it's probably Natty Light. But when you're drinking copious amounts of alcohol at Talladega, there's no reason to spend $20 on a 12-pack of Corona when you can get a 30 rack for like $21 of Natural Light. So It's all about pinching pennies while you're trying to stack a few at the same time. But yeah, man, you guys may know that gentleman as well. That is Mr. Andrew Higginbotham. That is one of the producers for Stacking Pennies. And a NASCAR media guy. Maybe one day I'll get to have one of those purple vests. Those would look even better on me.
Also a guest on the Shoe Show.
Yes.
One of my favorite episodes.
Dude, Higgy's, he's such good people, man. He is outside of anybody that works directly for a team. That's probably my favorite personality that I've had the privilege to meet. That's a damn good guy for sure.
And ex rock star. Good show. Anybody that didn't watch it, got to go watch it.
You never stop being a rock star. You just put the instrument down for a little while.
Sure.
That's right. Yeah, man. So here's me and Chris Buescher. I could say a lot of nice things about that guy. When I walked up to him, he was talking to somebody else. And so I, waited patiently until they were done with their conversation and, walked up and talked to him for a minute. And he's like, did you want me to sign something or whatever? I was like, no, man, if I was being honest, I just appreciate the conversation, more than anything else. And, if I could grab a photo with you, that'd be cool. And yeah, man, to me, a lot of times a photo lasts longer, obviously, than an autograph does. And so that's just my personal opinion. I would much rather prefer the photo than the autograph. But hell of a nice guy, man. And yeah, standing out on pit road before the race there with the lovely pace car for Talladega. I'm pretty sure that was in support of, like Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so obviously a good cause there and something that's close to my heart because my mother is currently battling breast cancer as we speak. So, yeah, man, it's pretty awesome. Sorry if I'm squinting a little bit. I don't have my glasses on. They make a really bad glare with this phone. So kind of blind.
Oh,
but either way,
you need to put as much over your face as you can for the benefit of the fans, sir.
Welcome to the Shoe Show. My name is Michael Boston.
Look at that. The viewership just doubled. What?
I'm sure it probably did. I should have had a shovel hanging up behind me here. That would have been a great prop. So now that I can see everybody, that's about all I got for that. Talladega was dope. Top to bottom, start to finish.
I wanted to ask you about this, man. Was this practice or was this the race?
That is in the middle of the race and or toward the latter stages of the race. That was right after Corey was kind of involved in that 26 car pileup. And so come to find out, they didn't break the toe link, but they bent it. And so they came down on multiple stops and readjusted that thing just well enough to kind of finish those last 10 laps or so. But yeah, it was still cool to see another live pit stop. And here they're taking the green flag, the start of the day. And I've talked about it before, guys, but there is just something about being at a race in person and watching the pace car hit pit road, and the field is at the attention of the guy in the flag stand just waiting on the rag to drop, and you can just feel the energy. You can, as Joey Logano would say, you can just feel it, Shu. You feel the anticipation. I just want to be down there, and I just want to touch it. But yeah, that is, God, the drop of the green flag is the best part of a NASCAR race, 100%. But
what's the difference between, you know, Talladega and Daytona have both been compared quite a bit. If y'all could tell me what's the biggest difference, either or, Daytona or Talladega, what? Because I've only been to Daytona. I've been to Talladega, but I barely remember it. So
if you've been to, well, since from your perspective, the first thing that's going to blow your mind is the fact that the track's not dropped in the middle of a city that was built up around it. You're way out in BFE, and there's so many campsites around. You know when you're getting close to the track because you smell the campfires and the barbecue through closed car windows. And that's just before you get in. And then once you actually get in the track doesn't necessarily have the pomp and circumstance that Daytona does. Daytona, obviously, they have some more integral races there for sports car racing and whatnot. Talladega's just got NASCAR, man. You know, they used to do closed speed tests back in the day. Obviously, you know, that's where Buddy Baker broke the 200-mile-an-hour barrier in the Dodge Daytona. There was road course races, but now it's just, you know, rock stars and race cars and NASCAR. And the track's wider. So as you saw in the fall race, those cars will get 5 wide and stay 5 wide. They don't have to concern themselves with dropping back down to 3 wide or 2 wide because the track narrows up. And it's also depending on where you sit. Like, I like to sit down low against the fences, and you can get closer to the car sitting down low than you can at Daytona. It's hard to put in words other than just being descriptive regarding the races and the environment itself. But there's also a feel there where, you know, if you're at Talladega, you're around truer fans, because Daytona is going to have the casual pop-off fans that, oh, hey, we're in the area. Oh, hey, this is Daytona. I've heard about Daytona. You know, you're not going to get people at Talladega that it's crazy. I've seen Formula One race fans at Talladega, and considering I follow Formula One, not a fan, but I follow it enough to know who's winning and who's relevant in the sport. So if I see like an Aero McLaren shirt or Red Bull shirt, I kind of make it a point to talk to these people, you know, see where they're from. Everyone I've talked to that's been wearing a Formula One shirt is from some other country somewhere. And that was a track they chose to go to experience NASCAR for the first time. So that in itself says a lot about it as well.
That's awesome. All right. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm hoping next year, fall, we can do it. But
well, Mike could tell you about the camping aspect of it.
Camping sucks. There's no fun to be had there whatsoever. And that's a lie. Listen, everybody's got their differences, right? Some people want to be able to sleep in a king size bed in a hotel somewhere and pay an extreme amount of money per night to stay within a reasonable distance from the track. Me, myself, I'm a blue collar guy. I don't mind sleeping in a tent on an air mattress for a couple of nights and making memories around the fire. And whether it's flood and rain or Derek, bless his heart, he got to wake up in a puddle of water at Talladega back in the spring. I was nice and dry in the Suburban, so I guess that played out pretty good. But yeah, man, the camping is, for me personally, that's what makes it so special. You know, obviously, usually being with my son, that's a good chance for us just to kind of, you know, decompress and spend a little time one-on-one. And it's memories that I'll carry with me to my grave, man. Camping is where it's at. So
free camping. Don't forget to let people know that it's free, and you're not going to get that at Daytona.
Everybody's already heard that I pour concrete for a living, Derek. They know it's free. If you pour concrete, you can't afford to pay for nothing.
All right. Well, I'm going to join and let you know about Homestead. So, my honest opinion about Homestead, last time I went to Homestead before this year was, I think maybe the 4 or 5 Pete of back when I was a Jimmy fan, and he won there. And I used to love Homestead because it just felt different. Everything was nicer. The people there were nicer. I think that they're more like casual fans and not diehard fans that you have to argue with. And but going back this time, Daytona has changed, and I think my experiences have changed where expectations, and it was okay. I'm gonna share some video here as opposed to sharing the screen and showing photos. So first off, you spend $50 to do this fan experience in the beginning, and I only went there in the first place to be there for Corey. I wanted to show him that we're still backing him, with the 51 swap, and if it wasn't for that, good chance I didn't go. I was able to say hey to him here.
Corey, Super Shoe, LaJoy. Starting 30 seconds. Pilot in the number 16 Worldwide Express Chevrolet from Los Gatos, California.
So it's cool to see him. There was no meet and greets, no really not a whole lot of fun things happening before the race. They have a decent amount of things to do, but for people that I like, there wasn't really a whole lot. I did go meet Brandon Bolin, who that week came on the show, who drives the NASCAR Classics hauler, and just got to hang with him for a little bit. And here's a cool video of Corey making a pit stop. This is about where we were sitting at right off of 4. It's kind of a bummer race. I mean, he didn't, I don't think, broke 30th the whole race. So kind of a bummer. I mean, overall, I had a good time. But really, definitely nothing compared to Daytona. So I do have a ultimate goal of collecting pins from every racetrack that I go to, and then getting like a United States map, like a cork board or something, and just pinning it. So eventually I would like to say that I've been at every NASCAR racetrack, I guess, as long as they stay, as long as they continue to stay on the schedule. So, but it was all right. It was all right. The fan zone, you really don't see much. You see the top 10 cars in the pit road. You go in. I did get to meet Team Super Shoe fan Tyler Lamb. He's a part of Team Super Shoe, and him and I hooked up, and I got to meet his family. He stood by the media center when they had their pre-race meeting, and then everybody came out, and he got quite a few autographs. I believe Kyle Larson, Corey. So that's cool. And but yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It was good to get out, but realistically, it's probably one of the lower ones on my list. But I'm glad to see the 45 win. So think he deserves it after the whole year getting to go to the top 4. So yeah. With that being said, I wanted to ask y'all. Today is the race. Who do y'all got for the champion of 2024? I guess you'll go first, Mike, because he left.
Oh, well, so if you guys will look over my left shoulder, camera right, there's an old 2001 championship hood for the one and only Jeff Gordon. And while it's not Jeff Gordon piloting that number 24 tonight, it's William Byron. And that car is taking the championship for the first time since 2001. I don't know how likely it is to happen, but that's my pick. That's who I'd like to see win, just because of the whole, growing up as a Jeff Gordon fan my whole life, I'd love to see the 24 take the crown once again. But if he can't do it, definitely pulling for Joey Logano in the 22 car. Buddy Christian, as we stated earlier, is a big Joey Logano fan. And so, I know it would thrill him to see his driver take on, another championship. And yeah, man, we'll just kind of see what happens. But Derek's back after leaving abruptly. We're talking about our championship picks.
Oh no, I know. I didn't miss out. You see, that's what happens when you're a Boy Scout in your youth. You learn to prepare ahead of time. And I knew this was a topic we were going to discuss. And so I came prepared with little Ryan Blaney swag. And I know that's going to make my boy Jesse happy, who sat across from us at the stands at Talladega. But being a Kozlowski fan and following everything he was doing with his truck teams and whatnot, I watched Ryan Blaney come up from the truck ranks all the way to where he is now as a champion. And he's got a personality that's not overbearing. It's not obnoxious, but he's not vanilla. You know, if he gets pissed off in the car, you're going to hear it. You know, he's a spirited individual, and he's got a great personality, and he gets these legit wins when he needs to. He comes in clutch so hard. Last year, fall race Talladega, Ryan Blaney wins and burns them down. I thought I was going to have a fat man heart attack when he started this, because I was upset, man. Like, I was happy my boy had won. I could have only been happier if it had been Shu. But my nephew was there, and the previous fall race, all the guys were doing donuts down by the tri-oval. So I'm like, all right, well, Ryan Blaney won. You're not going to get to see a burnout. And then he lit them up. And so, having followed Ryan Blaney, having seen how he handled being a Cup champion, and having seen his path to get there, I think that there's nobody more deserving. And after the sad news we all heard last night, let's not forget that Bobby Allison drove for Roger Penske. Bobby Allison won for Roger Penske. Bobby Allison also drove the number 12 car. So, multiple reasons to pull for Ryan Blaney to win tonight. And sorry, Mike, you're a good man, but the last person I want to see win is a 24 car. After last week's fiasco, how he got there, all the politics that NASCAR allowed, the situation they allowed to happen is horse squash. And I think the 24 winning the championship tonight is one of the worst things that can happen for the sport. But I tell you what, one of the best things that could happen for NASCAR, not the sanctioning body, not NASCAR themselves, but the health of the sport. If Ryan Blaney can't win, then I hope and pray that 45 puts it in victory lane, because I would love to see the team that is willing to stand up, you know, co-owned by Josh's second favorite driver. I would love to see them just kind of stick it to the man. You know, NASCAR is getting so much money, and seeing some of the deals they make. Look, I want to be honest. I watched a championship race last night because it's a championship race, and I love Xfinity, and I love watching these guys that are coming up to be Cup stars tomorrow, or, you know, Justin Allgaier winning it was great because he was a Cup star yesteryear. Drove very briefly for Roger Penske, and he was well deserving of that championship. But having to watch it on, and this is my Karen moment, so y'all are gonna have to bear with me. Having to watch in standard definition a NASCAR championship race on CW Sports in standard definition instead of high definition, where you can't even read the sports ticker. That's what the sanctioning body, that's what NASCAR is doing to the sport, because all they care about is money. And it's a sore subject, because I've seen people like Bobby Allison and the Allison family literally die for this sport, sacrifice for this sport, and for NASCAR to treat us, the fans, and them, the teams that are putting money in their pockets the way they do. I think the 45 with the checkered flag at the end of the race would be spectacular. And I'm just going to put a pin in it there so we can hear Josh's comments, because I can rant and rave about this all night.
You know, I can't say much more than that. You know, my choice was also the 45. don't have any problems with Tyler Reddick. If it's not him, I guess the 12, and support our guy Skip, who is on our favorite podcast. But yeah, again, what a story that would be for the team that's suing NASCAR to win the championship. Interesting. Nothing against you, Mike. Just an interesting some information I pulled for this Final Four. The two you picked, obviously Byron with the kind of controversial Chevy blocking form thing, and then you had the wall ride and all that happened with the 20 and the 23. But if Byron will win, that would be over his head. And same thing with Logano. Logano, if we don't remember now, is a few weeks ago, but Logano only got into the round of 8 because of the 48 penalty. So very interesting. Either one of those guys do win. That's quite a story. And at the end of the day, it's up to NASCAR to truly judge whether or not playoffs are truly meant for motorsports. So this is definitely a different sport than the MLB or NHL or, what I think that they're trying to go for is the NFL, winner takes all. I don't know, but very interesting. And I'm going to go with Reddick. And if not him, the 12. I really don't dislike any of the guys that are in the top 4. Hamlin's not in it. So, even though I'm wearing a shirt, Hamlin and Wallace, I'm okay. As long as they're not the champions, I'm all right. So
let's be honest. Bubba Wallace ain't competing for a championship anytime soon. But I digress.
Well, I know you don't like him, but he does show promise, and they do have good equipment there. So we'll see. So wanted to shout out some people for whatever reason. YouTube is not, or not YouTube. Facebook is not allowing your names to show up. So wanted to say Dustin's out here, said he's pulling for Reddick. Scott Willits came over and said that he wanted to shout out us, and he's sad to see the show go. And Cynthia, you had mentioned about didn't Byron win last year? He did not. It was the 12 car. So, which is a good chance it happens again today. So, all right. Well, all that being said, it's the end of the shoe show. So I wanted to kind of talk about kind of the story and, us just talk about our favorite moments and memories and, just kind of BS around. So long story short, I guess I don't know if it'll, that's probably the wrong thing to say, but back in 2020, or maybe I think it was 2020, I became a Corey LaJoie fan. I was actually, it's 2019. I was looking for a driver because my guy, Jimmy Johnson, was going to retire soon. I wanted to find somebody that I could actually relate to, that like personally, that actually is a personable guy that I could feel like, I can have a beer with that guy. Corey ended up being that guy, and it's kind of, unfortunately, a situation that NASCAR has right now, that we do not have a whole lot of personality in the garage. Corey is the personality. He is the Clint Boyer right now, so, and we really don't have a whole lot. You look at the top 4 guys that we have right now, and you couldn't tell me one thing about them. You couldn't tell me one interesting thing about them, or, and then that's a problem, whether or not it's on them or whether or not it's on the way we raise these kids that become race car drivers, or whether or not it's on the media that doesn't focus on them. I don't know what the answer is there, but Corey has shined way over everybody else. I took a picture of my truck. I cut I was cheering for him on the last year of the 32. And when he got the 7 ride, I got a 77 sticker, cut it in half, put it on my truck. The 7 sticker on the truck got shared by Corey, and it was like tagging the Team Super Shoe, and it made Team Super Shoe a lot bigger. Back then, we only had like 50 fans on Team Super Shoe, and now we're at like 4,000. Since then, I got invited to be a part of the admins, and I kind of took over things. And I got to know the PR person of Corey LaJoie, and she asked me, not ironically, not knowing that I actually have a background in in graphic design or video editing or any of the stuff that we can do cool stuff like the shoe show here. And she said, I'd really love to see you put out something that's not just sharing his stuff, like put out your own media. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? Right. So, then Mike and I went out to, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Mike and I went out to Daytona. Him and I became friends through Team Super Shoe. Mike's from Georgia. I'm from Florida. Mike's works concrete, and I'm a police officer. Our paths were not supposed to mix, but somehow we did. And we decided both of us were going to go to the August race in Daytona. And I went out to PR and said, I'd love to, maybe we can get some fan questions and throw them into an interview. And then, gives us a reason to have a chat with Corey LaJoy, our favorite race car driver. And she said, sure. So we went behind the pit wall, and it was the freaking coolest thing ever. We were almost hyperventilating before it even happened. And this video here happened.
Josh and Mike from Team Super Shoe standing here with the one and only Corey LaJoy.
And this is before the shoe show. This is just Team Super Shoe.
Daytona Beach, Florida, getting ready for the Coke Zero Shorter Pro 100. Yes, sir. We appreciate you taking the time to meet us and talk to us, and for Team Super Shoe on Facebook. We just appreciate you always being cool with us. So you and Leanne. So
I appreciate everybody for following the page. A lot of times they have more content than I've even seen. I don't know if they're getting that from inside sources or where they're getting that from, but following Team Super Shoe's Facebook page is something I do in my spare time, so I appreciate all the support.
All right, sir, so we're going to rapid fire some of these questions. We were wondering, it's an honor to meet you. We were wondering if you ever had a moment where you had a starstruck moment meeting a celebrity or
starstruck. I saw Tom Brady walk by. I froze. I didn't know what to do. His jawline was impeccable. I did not know what I could do.
All right. So on Stacking Pennies, you talked about the top 20 teams roughly are $2 million a car when they pay, when the teams pay for each car, and you said you're nowhere near that. So every time you're up past top 20, that it's a big benefit for you guys. Can you explain how much you benefit per?
I'm worried they can't hear the audio because this guy here's blaring Luke Combs, so we can get a little closer to the camera.
All right.
But yeah, so if you add up all the fully funded teams on that side of the garage, you're looking at 20, 22 teams that have over $20 million in budget. So we're racing about off half that. So that's why we got to stack pennies and have some fun. Daytona's a great equalizer, so we're gonna be able to get on the wheel tonight and hopefully punch our ticket to the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Scott Thompson from the group, he was wondering how instrumental your dad was in fine-tuning your driving skills growing up.
I don't know if he fine-tuned it. He just yelled at me enough to where I knew what I was doing wrong quite often. So, my dad wouldn't be here without my dad, obviously. That's Big Randy's birthday.
That's right. All right. And Morgan Bouchet from France, he wants to know if you've ever been to France.
No, but my family has generations removed, as I'm sure he's noticed the LaJoie last name. I have not been to France. Would love to go check out Spa or any of those cool racetracks out in France.
Go ahead.
Just pick the top four. On Stacking Pennies, you guys have discussed a couple of nicknames for your fans. Have we decided maybe on ash holes? Have we went with shoestrings? What do we think?
I don't know about ash holes. I like my friends too much. I kind of like the penny stacker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That was the first time penny stackers was coined. Credit Michael Bostic. Just to let you guys know.
And so I got a question for myself. If you could choose where you get your first career Cup victory, where would that be and why?
It would be right here at Daytona tonight. Why not?
That's right. All right, and we got another question from Gary
famous
Reed.
Blogger himself, Eric Eastep.
Out of the groove.
What's up, man?
So we got a question from Gary Reed from the page. He wants to know, has NASCAR talked to you and Anthony Alfredo or you and Eric Jones about some of the track on-track incidents or the off-track comments that may have resulted in retaliation?
No, there hadn't been any retaliation, but everybody, there's a gentleman's code, and those stuffs are handled. We don't need NASCAR to come in and babysit. We're big boys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so Built Bar is on the car tonight. We've seen that you shared on social media that you had a Built Bar sofa created. Can we hear a little bit about the inspiration for that?
The technical term was NAS couch.
Okay.
It was a NAS couch. So yeah, I got a show car from Spire Motorsports, cut the whole right side out and put a couch in. It lives in headquarters in Salt Lake City at Built Bar. So if you're ever in Salt Lake City, you can go check it out and sit in the NASCAR couch for yourself.
And so 2021, we've got 10 races left in the regular season. What's your view of Spire's year so far, and what are your expectations going forward with the new generation car in 2022?
Yeah, so I think we've had a pretty good year overall, A-. Probably could do some things better, but I feel like we've executed well on some things as well. So the next year, it's, hopefully should bring some of those teams up front closer to us, but it's still going to be tough. We're going to be fighting for anything we can get. So who knows? We can fire off and haul ass, or we can fire off and be terrible, or anywhere in between. So that's why you got to tune in and keep support.
All right. Well, my name's Mike. This is Josh. We are Team Super Shoe here with Corey LaJoie. Thank you so much for your time, Corey. And we'll see you again next time.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So that spawned the idea. Yeah, thanks. That spawned the idea of Mike and I both were enthralled that we interviewed a race car driver, and we decided to kind of throw out the idea to PR. Hey, I have this history with, I know how to do graphics and video editing and all this, and Mike here does not know how to stop talking. So we would love to do a show. And, we thought, the Shoe Show, that'd be kind of a cool name. And she loved it. I said, we'd like to highlight people that are behind the garage, not just Corey. And that way we get to, really we get to talk to our heroes, like Mike and I, as Mike talked about, wanting to be a part of NASCAR someday. We both just are enthralled with anything NASCAR related, and just to be able to hear their stories and how they got there, and they get to literally work on race cars every day, or whatever their job is. So from there on, we realized that this thing was taken off quite a bit, and a lot of important people were watching us, and a lot of people came on the show, like Jeff Owen from Blue Green's Vacation. He does marketing for them, and he came on the show and told me how much, I think it was off camera, but he told me how much he loved the show, how he watches every episode. We've had other people that come on, like my buddy Joey West from one of my favorite rock bands, Disciple. And he was enthralled to be on the show that he listens to he listened to the audio podcast, but that was I cannot believe that this dude is listening to us nobodies that just have microphones. So, and then we brought along this year, after the Halloween episode last year, I thought, this guy would be a good addition to the show. Mr. Derek Nelson. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he knows so much more. And he was the reason why we had outlets like Andy Jankowiak and people from ARCA this year. We have had a lot more things to talk about, underdog style, than just Corey LaJoie, Inspire Motorsports, and future teams of Corey LaJoie. And Derek's done an amazing job for us. And realistically, I know I've been talking for 10 minutes now, but I am not the talker of the group. I needed these guys to keep conversation going. They know so much more about the sport than I do. I just like to drink beer and watch it on TV. So
I like it.
With all that being said, and before I throw it to y'all, I wanted to take a big breath and thank every person that's been on the show. So here we go. Joey Nichols, Andrew Miller, Josh Medor, the shoe analyst, Chris Spear, Bobby Peters, Mark Schisler, TJTU, Alex and Baylor Morgan, Cordell Carrier, Bobby Cansdale, Andrew Fuller, Keith LaSalle, Eve O'Neill, Joe Pelham, Morgan Boucher, Courtney Garcia, Jerry Bostic, Rita Sisk, Dave Skinner, Jaylene Withrow, Billy Harbin, Ethan Faircloth, Matt James, Michael McMahon, you call him Daytona Mike, Alan Gilbert, Jack Vessel, Jeff Lagro, Timothy Thompson, and our guests, Corey LaJoie, Alex Armstrong, Ryan Sparks, Everett Larson, Austin Stumbraze, TJ Bell, Sean Borger, Jason Bebiak, Ryan Towles, or Ryan Tolles, goes by Towles. I believe he's working for the 45 car now. Corey and Brady, Putnam Ferguson, Greg Stump, Joey West, Scott Brewer, Roy Gangdahl, Toby Christie, Jimmy Smith, Eric Reese, Kevin Bono Mannion, Will Johnson, Jeff Owen, Lyle Miller, Jason Dukes, Randy LaJoy, Chris Berry, Andy and Debbie Jankowiak, Andy Seiss, and the KLAS Motorsports team, Tyler Turner, Kyle Armstrong, Armani Williams, Morgan DeLoach, Greg Van Alst, Andrew Higginbotham, Lisa Lee, Billy Neal, and our last guest, Brandon Bolin. And of course, these numbskulls, Michael Bostic and Derek Nelson. And that's all I got.
What a hell of a ride, guys. Just hearing all of those names being mentioned, it brings back different individual memories from everything that the show has brought. And, not that I have forgot these people, but just hearing their names, it kind of refreshes your memory, if you will. And it's been such a privilege to get to meet and get to know so many of you. And, just for three casual race fans, such as, myself, Josh, and Derek, and I've said it before, stuff like this isn't supposed to happen for three average schmoes like ourselves. And it's truly been a blessing. And I've sat here and I've spent the last several days kind of reflecting on what this journey has been. And, knowing that this was going to be the last podcast, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of those names that were just mentioned. Thank you to Josh, Mr. Derek here. I'm just a fortunate individual from South Georgia, doing blue collar work every day that gets to do some really cool stuff behind the scenes. And so thank you, fellas. Thank you, everyone, for taking part of this journey right along with us. And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's being a Corey LaJoy fan is a lot different than being a Casey Kane fan or a Brad Keselowski fan. So the way Josh and I kind of met, which led to me being here today talking to you wonderful folks. Leanne, the famous Corey LaJoy PR gal, young lady. She saw a reel that I posted back when Corey was going to run a throwback at Darlington to his grandfather. And that just kind of spoke to me because being a fan of the history of the sport and just loving all the old school stuff, seeing a legit throwback with a legit backstory to it, not just something that was casually thrown back to a famous movie or a car that looked really nice but never really did anything. This one had meaning, and she responded. And from there, that led to some opportunities for me personally when I went to North Wilkesboro that week, and I tried to take in as much NASCAR stuff as I possibly could without any adult supervision from my wife. So that led to some shop tours and whatnot, and had a lot of pictures to share, and meeting LaJoy fans at North Wilkesboro. I guess that's kind of what kind of opened the door. I was actually there that week when Josh sent me a message and asked me if I wouldn't mind being a moderator on a page or an admin or whatnot. And since then, there's different opportunities that just have been afforded all of us because of the type of person Corey LaJoy is, the type of teams that he runs for. Some people are upset that he's at Rick Ware because they feel like it's a step backwards, but I feel like God puts you in places where you need to be, and maybe Corey LaJoy is the perfect driver to help a team like that turn the page on their past and look forward to the future and hopefully bring them up. But the one of the highlights is for me personally from the show and as a fan was being afforded the opportunity to talk to Andy J after what happened at Daytona. And he like Corey LaJoy and the whole KLAS Motorsports team, they're humble and great people. And, you know, it allowed us it allowed me and Mike the opportunity to go and just kind of document a ARCA weekend after we had a spectacular interview with Andy J. And great memories that weekend.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, no, so which y'all don't see if you've not been a part of the show is whenever we have a guest on, there's usually a few minutes of just BSing before we record. Sometimes there's some BSing afterwards, and Andy J was great. He is great. As an Andy J fan, you get to watch him year round because he gets in anything that has a wheel and he just races the heck out of it. And with backing from the owners, Andy Seiss and Kevin Lepierre at KLAS Motorsports, he's afforded the opportunity to get behind a lot more wheels. And so then having Andy's mom on, and just, I mean, these are crazy things. If you would have talked to me, you know, casual race fan a few years ago and told me that, you know, I'd be working with a team helping them push a pit box to their pit stall and taking pictures with this driver on pit road, that's one of the things I probably take away from the show the most. By making people like Cynthia, the winner of LeJoin the Fiesta, making her day by affording her the opportunity through the LeJoin the Fiesta contest we had earlier this year, which for me, honestly, as far as the show goes, non-race related talent and things that we've done, the hype was real at the beginning of the season and the preseason. We found out Corey LaJoy had the Chili sponsorship coming on board. So, you know, came up with that LeJoin the Fiesta contest, and, you know, some of y'all participated, some of you didn't, and you missed out because, as fortune would have it, or as God had meant for it to be, Cynthia won the contest and had her name shouted out by Corey LaJoy himself. So you're not going to get that following, you know, a Rick Hendrick driver or a JGR driver. You're not going to get to meet some of these humble people because we are the true fans of motor racing. We are not the bandwagon fans. And I'm going to piggyback off of that, and I'm going to turn it back over to Josh, because don't forget, we're recording this live, and live right now, NASCAR is hosting a most popular driver contest for 2024. And we all know the bandwagon fans are out there with their 5 gear and their 24 gear and their 9 gear. And yes, most of them are Hendrick people, or you got your Bubba Wallace fans. And, you know, it's the bandwagon is so ridiculously overcrowded right now. Why would you not go vote for somebody who's holding his own just based off of his talent, charisma, and charm? I mean, we helped lift him up throughout the year with all the changes going on through this crazy 2024 season. As it draws to an end, just go take a couple minutes, hop on over. You should have been voting every day. You're allowed like 5 votes every day. So y'all head on over to Most Popular Driver, vote, get you to be the most popular driver, and get him into 2025 with just this crazy wave of optimism. And let's see what happens. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with me, letting me have my long-winded rants and raves. And yeah, I think that will be the last of this rant and rave. I can't think of anything else to say, and I'm tired of hogging the spotlight.
So here's a side story, right? And piggybacking once again off of his long rants and tirades. So Josh and Derek and I have a group chat on Facebook where we can communicate just amongst us 3. And a lot of times, you know, it's just, you know, text and whatever else, but we're bad about using voice clips where we speak into our microphone and send it off, right? So one thing I've come to realize is these other 2 gentlemen here, they don't have real jobs. They have a lot of extra time on their hands. So Derek Nelson here, and I've talked a lot of friendly trash to him. This guy will get on there and send a voice clip. Facebook will let you send a 10-minute voice clip. This guy will send stuff at 9 minutes and 58 seconds long. And I'll check my phone after a minute, and there'll be like 4 9-minute voice clips from Derek. And then you'll have Josh, with 5 and 6 minute voice clips. And I'm just kind of doing the quick math in my head going, that's going to take 45 minutes to listen to. I'm like, I can't catch up, guys. Like, I don't know what you want me to do, but I can't do it, right? While we're sharing behind the scenes stuff. No, even though I don't get to hear it live and in time, I have to kind of review a lot of these things once I get home from work. But that being said, while I make comedy out of it, it is cool that us three here can be involved in a chat where we send 8, 9, 10-minute voice clips to one another, and everybody listens and takes it in and tries to build off of that, whether it's subject content, for the show, or it's just us talking about our everyday personal lives. And, so while I give you guys a hard time about it, I'm thankful for each and every one of those. And, yeah, man, it's just been it's been such a cool journey. And real quick to the point, man, that Andy J weekend with you, Derek, and my buddy Andrew, that was one for the record books, fellas. Josh, I wish you could have been there. That was so cool to see how a team unloads from start to finish for a race weekend and gets everything prepared and ready for practice and qualifying and race trim and all these things. And so shout out for sure to Andy J, KLAS Motorsports, KLAS Motorsports, however you'd like to say it. And we're moving on. That's all I got for that as well.
Well, I had a few videos here. This is the one of the highlights you picked, Mike, for things we should talk about. So, or favorite memories of the show. So here's one here. What's going on, y'all? This is Josh and Mike from Team Super Shoe. Appreciate you coming to hang out with us. We are on episode number 2 of the Shoe Show. We are not, again, talking about high heels or Crocs. We are talking about the one and only Corey LaJoie and just anything NASCAR related. Mike, what's going on, brother?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. I'm glad to be here. And we have a stacked show today for our viewers. Why don't you tell them what we got?
Man, so we, I think most importantly, we got to talk about that special guest. Somebody y'all might know is the crew chief in the number 7 car, Mr. Ryan Sparks.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to that portion of it. But we got a little biography for you guys too, just to try and explain and put the spotlight a little more on Ryan and his career and where it all started for him.
Ryan Sparks, born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. From the beginning, Sparks was no stranger to racing or the atmosphere thereof. As young as age 1, Ryan could be found at the local short tracks with his father, who at the time was an avid go-kart racer. Once becoming tall enough to reach the pedals and to see over the steering wheel, he tried his own hand at racing, but he felt like it just wasn't his thing. Once becoming old enough to work in the pits, Ryan would later explore the other side of the racing world by building the cars rather than driving them.
No, because when Ryan Sparks, that's the car your mother can drive it.
2022 will mark the start of another year, another chance to grow stronger, more competitive, and knowledgeable. Cheers to Ryan Sparks on all that he has accomplished in his career and all that he brings to the table to figure out this next-gen car. Could we see Corey LaJoie and Ryan Sparks in victory lane together in 2022? Team Super Shoe certainly says yes. But just for good measure, let's maybe ask the man himself.
All right, brother. Nice little shootout here. Stay focused. Go get him. You ain't ever done before right here.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Shoe Show. We are very proud to have the one and only crew chief for the number 7 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro, driven by Corey LaJoie, Ryan Sparks. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us, brother.
Yeah, man. Good to be here. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys for a little bit and hopefully answering some good questions.
So that was 2021 episode number 2. We have officially hit 3 years for the show in November right now. So, Mike, what do you remember about the nerves of like dealing with dealing with the lights and the cameras and all that?
That was not to be confused with the shoe show, but that was a show. As I remember it, man, you talk about nervous, man. Obviously, we were nervous, doing our deal with, Corey in the garage at Daytona, as you showed earlier. But Ryan Sparks was our first official, guest on the shoe show overall, but our first guest that was involved with Corey or the team or what have you. And so it was much the same as that interview with Corey in Daytona. Josh and I had spent countless amounts of time trying to get the questions just right and trying to get the format and bullet points that we really wanted to hit home on. And, that was our second show overall. First time with a guest from Spire Motorsports. And I remember explicitly just kind of shaking like a leaf as, we got prepared for Ryan to meet us at, 6 or 7 o'clock that evening. And, Josh and I both kind of pinching ourselves at, the journey that we were on. And, man, like that just brings back good memories. And like, I know I'm talking a lot with my hands, kind of like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with them. But just seeing that video, man, brings back so many good memories. It's kind of like a time capsule, right? It kind of takes you back to a better place in time. And man, I couldn't be more thankful for the fact that that's ultimately where this whole journey started. And now we get to see the conclusion of it with us three fine gentlemen here. Obviously I'm the best looking one of them all. So bless y'all's heart. Yeah. Well, listen, it's the last episode. We can tell lies. We can tell lies. This is my lie. You let me tell it my way. Okay. But yeah, man. And Josh, I couldn't thank you more, man, for making me a part of this group and for bringing me along on this ride that, as we said, it's not supposed to happen for guys like us. And so I couldn't be more thankful. And that's all that I really got to say about that, I guess. Once again,
that's all I got to say about that. Yeah. Well, this has been quite the journey. Like I said, all of us are from different states, different aspects of life, but we all love Corey and we've all kind of bonded through that. And these opportunities have kind of opened up. To a point that we have memories. Derek, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you at a racetrack soon. Mike, him and I have been together 3 or 4 races, and he's even come down to my house for a Halloween party. And, Mike has seen me so trashed that I fell over on Daytona Beach. And that was bad. So we go deep now. So a story I wanted to bring up, or one of my favorite memories here. We obviously talked about the initial interview that kind of opened this door. This is one that kind of made me realize how deep the fandom here goes, and how much that what we do here on Team Super Shoe is actually kind of important. So let's watch this.
How cool would it be maybe in his shoes? Like, this is the first race that I can really remember, and now it's the first win of my professional career. That would be pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Mike, me and Jason heard you brought something exciting to the shoe show. New sponsor coming up, or what's going on with it?
Yeah, man. So we've had to keep this under a blanket and wrapped up tight for a little while now. But so coming to the All-Star race at Texas, we're debuting a new sponsor on the hood of the car. And guys, it is without a doubt the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life. If you've watched episode 3 with Corey LaJoy, you'll understand why this sponsor is on the hood of the car. Josh, roll that beautiful footage.
All right.
Matt Kenseth had Crown Royal. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has High Rock Vodka. And now, The soul refreshing taste of 90% isopropyl rubbing alcohol can be found on the hood of Corey LaJoie's number 7, Canadian Mist. It's like paint lacquer.
Y'all boys are probably half drunk by now.
We are.
We are. What are y'all drinking?
But I'm on a budget this week, so I'm drinking some Canadian Mist because I can Crown Royal.
All right, not a bad one. Love that. I mean, that's like the Bud Light of whiskey. Man, that's okay. You know, we gotta build our way up. It's a Canadian Mist will get you buzzed like the same thing Woodford.
Enjoyed by the penny stacker himself, you too can enjoy the brand that requires very minimal stacks of pennies to purchase. Because after all, this is the Bud Light of whiskey. Guarantees a hangover, but also guarantees the ability to forget life's hardships, like when your crew chief gets suspended. We need 7 shots on deck. Canadian Mist. Coming next week will be Tylenol, the brand most trusted to take care of headaches, caused primarily from Canadian Mist. Schluter systems will return to the car soon, and you'll be glad they did, because after one hard night of Canadian Mist, you'll be wishing you had some bathroom remodeling products. But for now, let's welcome some bottom of the barrel rock gut onto the car. Guaranteed to feel this in the morning.
And so what do you guys think? Like that's the best drink ever, right? Like that's a good sponsor, right? Like I'm pumped. You're not?
I'm very I'm speechless. You're successful in making me speechless. That was awesome. I like it. The effort.
You know, it's been tough to root the 7 on, and Mike, I don't know if you're making it easier, but either way, all right. So funny story about that. I'm not going to go too deep into the truth. However, that was a time when we realized that our show, our page, our graphics, all the things that we put up together on Facebook, everything else was there. It is.
There it is.
Some things just never change. So that we realized that this show goes a lot deeper than just us fans goofing around, and got a message from a certain person from a certain company that said that, you know, we pay a lot for Corey's advertisement, and we don't appreciate it. We profusely apologized and said we get it, right? And we realized that maybe this open door we shouldn't go too wild. You know, we got to be representative of Corey LaJoie at the end of the day, and make sure that we represent him right. So with that being said, one last video I wanted to send to you before we finally wrap things up is a little kind of behind the scenes blooper reel of the first few episodes of the Shoe Show back in 2021.
Hello.
Welcome.
Oh, your show? Is this episode 2?
This is.
Oh, okay, man. You really had me there for a second. The way you paused, I was like, can you not hear me? I was like, no way, this is happening. Like, we're 2 minutes from going live. The mic don't work. Okay.
All right, man. So, Team Super Shoe, that's where it all started. Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy to be here. It's episode 2. Got this baby up and rolling. Man, I messed that up. I'm sorry, Josh. Shit.
All right. Let's start over.
I can hear my heartbeat in my head. That's bad. I didn't get this nervous in Daytona with Corey, man. That's bad. So I'm sure he's done enough Zoom meetings. I'm sure he knows the protocol.
There he is.
What's happening?
How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Great. Yourself? Yep. No worries, man. Y'all have a good one.
Take care.
Thanks. Man, that's so cool. Yes.
All right.
So awesome. We did it. Yeah. Cheers, brother.
Ching.
Hell yeah. Bam! Oh, that was awesome. You ever had kids? Happened to me. All right. Third time's the charm. Here we go.
All right. So what you were saying, Mike, about your penis enlarger pills you were taking?
Yeah, this is definitely cool. For whatever reason, I almost feel a little more nervous than I was in Daytona. And like that was live in person, like with him standing next to me on my shoulder, it's crazy.
Yeah. This is weird. It's definitely a different feeling having a computer in front of my face and a light and a microphone. And by the way, you got 15 minutes to don't. Oh yeah, I gotta get the timer.
Yeah, there you go. Good job, bud. You done this before?
No.
Yeah, me too. First time. Somebody is 4 minutes late. And I'm telling you, man, this guy acts like he drives race cars for a living or something, like he might be busy.
Yeah. Or he's got a family or something.
Probably old fashioned.
We are going to have a lot of blooper reel footage.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah. You want to know what it takes to put together an episode of... We can make this a whole biography. Yeah. I swear to God. You want to see what it takes? Joey Logano, but you got to give it more teeth. Like, it's like all... I can't because my teeth are crooked.
Joey Logano, he seems like a pisser. I don't know.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm drinking his bourbon. I bought it because I went to the store and I said, I remember him like in Woodford Reserve. He bought the double oak that's probably double the price, but
we got 1 minute.
There he is. You see him, Mike?
I do not.
Oh, well, he's there.
Double boys are probably half drunk by now.
We are. We have had a few, sir. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I'm late. Dinner's been creeping up earlier and earlier on us here, but
what's it been like as far as you going to school, and how did that all play out?
I kind of I've always worked on stuff, so it was kind of just like nuts and bolts.
So, last video, no comments. The funny thing about Corey, he showed up and we had messaged him earlier in the day and we said, hey dude, our tradition is that we usually drink some whiskey during the show. If you want to partake, that'd be great. So that's why he knew we were drinking.
Oh my God, bro. Continue, you're doing great.
So that's all I got, guys.
I've learned that Mike should not. Mike is pretty much the poster child of why you don't drink Canadian Mist, right?
Well, it's kind of like eating paint chips as a kid. Whether it had lead in it or not, it pays really high dividends. Oh man, dude, Josh, thanks for putting that little clip together.
Yeah,
that's good for the memory bank as well. And again, it's not that you'll ever forget these things, but when you get that mental refresher, it kind of puts you in that time capsule of what your time and place was in life, and that's just a good trip down memory lane, man. And for the viewers that may not be aware, with that clip with Corey, the first time we had him on, and he's talking about, sorry I'm late, whatever. And not that we're gonna paint the guy in a bad light, but he was like an hour and a half late. And so Josh and I, being all pumped up for getting to interview our favorite driver, for this podcast that's all for him, and the whole, bring your favorite adult beverage and we'll drink and have a good time. Me and Josh drank a lot and we had a great time. And so I can't speak for Josh, but I was about half lit when that guy finally showed up. So when he's like, I bet you fellas are about half drunk by now. And I'm like, we are. True story. I
I did great. I didn't slur my speech too bad, I don't feel like. And yeah, man, just God, what a memory, man. And I'm so thankful for it all. Like, I've got tears in my eyes. Like, that was genuine laughter that I don't usually get unless I'm half hammered at the racetrack on a Saturday night around the campfire, you know. And Derek can allude to that. Whenever I get half lit and I find something comical, I'll cackle like a woman. Oh my God.
True story.
That's good stuff. That's awesome, man.
He cackles almost on par with a certain person who was running for president not too long ago.
What do you mean, man? What do you mean?
Wow. Well, my last little tidbit here, something I wanted to post, reasons why we love Corey. And the reason why we did this in the first place, we want to spread the good news of Corey LaJoie because he is truly a unique person in the garage. And we hope nothing but the best for him. We hope that everything works out with Rick Ware next year and everything else. But he's our guy, you know, and, you know, we ride with him and die with him. So wanted to put this out here for anybody that did not catch his Instagram earlier. I thought it was pretty cool. And excited to watch the last race this year, and I'm praying for the best next year.
Over here to the track this morning, last one, it's always like a bit of an emotional ride, right? But I had a thought, and the thought was, you know, it's a common theme to hear people on the mountaintop with the spotlights on talk about how God is so good because of the good things going on in their life. It's not often you hear about somebody that is talking about how good God is in the valley. I've learned a lot this year, and I've had to praise one with my mouth when my soul didn't believe it and let it catch up. But through the funk, through the storm, through the negative self-talk that you work through and you lean in and you try to figure it all out, I've learned that God's closer to me in the valley than he's ever been with me on the mountaintop. So I think there's some people who need that encouragement today, that you got to fight, you got to claw, and you got to get out of it, but God's with you every step of the way. And he's closer to you in the valley than he is on the mountaintop. Y'all have a good day. It's the last one. Let's have some fun. Let's go.
So that's it.
Amen.
This is it.
Amen.
Corey, you know, he's in the valley. Hopefully he's got the bright lights on him in the future, but you know, we're hoping nothing but the best.
When you're in the valley, it's the struggle in the valley, and it's seeking the Lord in prayer that gives you the strength and the ability to climb and ascend to the mountaintop.
I'll add to that.
Yeah,
2 Corinthians 5:7 says that we are called to walk by faith and not by sight. And I hope that that's where Corey is at right now. We're walking by faith. We can't see what the overall outcome is to be or the eventual path that we're on. But we use our faith to believe that brighter days are ahead. And I believe that very thing for Corey LaJoie. And yeah, I hope that he's got a ride for next year. And even if he doesn't, I will go down swinging and believing that Corey LaJoie is a true race car driver. It doesn't matter the opportunities that he has or had not. That's wrong. The opportunities that he has had or has not had to showcase his talent, right? That guy, I truly believe, is a race car driver. And, you know, I want to see him succeed. And I hope that he's walking by faith just the same, that brighter days are to come, you know, that you don't have to spend all this time in the valley, but at some point you get to the top of that mountain and get to stand there with your shoulders held back and your chin held high to say, I made it. And yeah. And I appreciate the clip, Josh, because I don't have an Instagram, so I didn't get to watch that earlier as we were talking about in the group chat. So thanks for showing me that. and you could truly hear the emotion in that guy's voice. And it's good to know that we're supporting a guy that's just like us. You know, he's fighting the same battles and everyday questions that oftentimes I'm sure all three of us and everybody that's watching has, asked themselves just the same. So, yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, this show was something of an opportunity for you and I, Mike, to get to interview our heroes. Since then, we have gotten to hang out behind the wall. We have gotten to know people. We got phone numbers and people, and they're just like us. I got to play kickball with Corey LaJoie and Derek. You've gotten your access through Andy J, and we've gotten to expand kind of the fandom of penny stackers to, some of the other underdogs of the sport. And at the end of the day here, where I feel like that's a job well done. And I think it's something we're all going to remember. And remember back when we were a somebody on a TV screen here. So back to just being our old schmoes for now. You guys can hang out with us on Team Super Shoe. We're always going to be around. We're going to still go to races. We're still going to, post on there and interact with y'all. We're not disappearing by any means, but we're just taking this outlet away, unfortunately, because of life's just getting a little more complicated, and it's been getting harder and harder to keep it up. It truly means a lot as the main person here to have fans of the show, and that people are constantly coming back and watching. I never thought I would be somebody that people would want to sit there and listen to talk, or sit here and watch graphics and all that. So it means a ton. I don't know where it goes from here, but I do know that Team Super Shoe has brought us all together, and I've gotten so many more friends because of Corey LaJoie and my fandom. This has been crazy. So y'all got anything else before we close it out?
Go ahead,
I want to
Derek.
thank you.
Something.
Thank you for bringing us along for this ride. And since this is the shoe show, thank you to Corey LaJoie and Leanne and everybody that's come on, and everyone behind the scenes that you don't get to see that's afforded us the opportunity to do this and many other things. And that's really all I got to say about it.
In Vietnam, it's this whole other country. No, the only other thing that I can really close with is, obviously as a race fan since age 5, it has been really cool to be able to dive in with a particular team or driver, being Corey LaJoie and, Miss Leanne, the PR lady. Above all that, guys, my father is the one that got me into the sport. And so for me personally, it's kind of like a full circle moment to be able to, share a lot of this with my son. So I will show you this. So here is Corey and my son at Talladega. And I sent a couple of these pictures off to Corey to have him sign as a stocking stuffer for my son last year. And then, here we got the shoe show. Stuff like this, guys, has been the greatest thing that I could have come from this podcast. And, for my son to be able to partake in many of the things that he has, I hope that it's stuff that sticks with him for the rest of his life. And I hope that at one day his father has made him proud of the things that he got to experience within the sport of NASCAR. And one day he'll be able to understand the bigger picture, that it was not just his dad that allowed him these experiences. It was directly from the people of Corey LaJoie and Leanne and Spire and Rick Ware Racing and some of these others that allowed him to get to do the things that he's done. So I'll cap all this to say this. the all-time best thing that has ever came out of this page and this podcast, outside of the friendships that I've made with these two gentlemen here that you see on your screen, was getting to watch my boy push Corey's car from the garage to pit road for qualifying. About makes me teary-eyed just thinking about it, fellas. And y'all can call me soft or girly or whatever else that you want to, but as a true avid diehard NASCAR fan, to get to watch your son push a race car just doesn't get any better than that. You can have all the autographs and pictures and swag and pit crew shirts and whatever else. That is stuff personally that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. And I'm glad that both of you gentlemen, along with everybody watching and all 4,000 people that we have on Team Super Shoe, I'm glad you guys were along for the ride. And just thank y'all for everything.
Wanted to show y'all one last thing. Shoe Show Studios here is actually in my wife's makeup closet. I want y'all to know that if y'all, I just ran with this, and if y'all as fans see an open door, take it, do something, because that's what all three of us here did. And you know, for the Shoe Show fans that are just subscribing and just discovering it, please stay tuned. And I'm gonna make a playlist of just kind of the best of shows. And there's a lot to watch, and it's really cool to honor the heroes of NASCAR that's not just behind the wheel, but behind the tools and everything else. So otherwise, y'all, I appreciate you once again. And I guess until next time, come hang out with us on Team Super Shoe. Y'all, God bless, stay safe, and go Corey LaJoy.